channel 601. We'll have more live market analysis coming up, but first, let's take a look at how mid-sized companies are dealing with increasing disruption. A new survey by American Express shows disruption threatens almost half of mid-sized companies, while those that embrace it are set for double-digit growth. The American Express Future Proofing Survey includes the views of 250 chief financial officers. And for more on the results, Christine Wakefield, the Vice President of Global Corporate Payments at American Express, joins us live. Christine, welcome back onto the channel. Can we start off by asking you, how has the mood of CFOs changed since we last spoke? And what does the report tell us about the impact of disruption?
Hello, Dan. So what we found in the survey was that we went out and spoke to 250 Australian CFOs in mid-sized businesses, and they fell into one of two areas: those that were embracing change and those that were resistant to change. Those that were embracing disruption, 20% of them were embracing disruption, and when we look at their forward forecasts, 30% of them were expecting double-digit growth in the future. On the flip side, 50% of CFOs that saw disruption as negative were forecasting that it experienced negative growth over the past 3 years, and 30% looking forward didn't predict growth into the future, into the coming year.
And Christine, what type of disruption are we seeing? Is it the sharing economy challenge like Uber v taxis and Airbnb v hotels, or is it something deeper?
Oh, look, there's a number of things. Certainly disruption is coming from a number of different points of view. So certainly technology is one of them. The global economy is another. There are other groups where, where we're finding not only technology but new entrants into the marketplace is having an impact on businesses. So it's not just one thing. But what we found interesting in the survey, Dan, was that the thing that was weighing most heavily in terms of disruption was disruption coming from local competitors.
So 67% of CFOs, I think from memory, surveyed by American Express say that disruption is taking place in their businesses as we speak. And as you mentioned, they're more worried about local competition and the office down the road rather than the office on the other side of the world. Why do you think that's the case?
Look, I think depending upon where you sit, what we're finding with local, there's a lot of great homegrown talent now. We're hearing about Stone and Chalk, which definitely American Express is a founding partner, but there's a lot of homegrown talent coming up with some great ideas and innovation. So I think companies, mid-sized companies, are not only looking locally, and that's their number one concern, but they're certainly looking overseas. With the exchange rates, the way they're moving around, if you're an importer, I think you're going to be very challenged. If you're an exporter, you've got great opportunities to grow and get new customers and enter new segments offshore.
And part of the survey is to look into these strategies being employed to navigate an increasingly, disruptive time. Are CFOs fighting it or embracing it, Christine?
Look, there are some that are embracing it and are really in the driver's seat, and there are some CFOs that are running behind trying to catch up. Those that are embracing it, what we found is they've already invested, so they've gone out and acquired new talent. They needed talent with new skills to think differently, so they've gone out and acquired the talent. Others have looked for mergers and acquisition, looking to other companies that have got great assets that complement their own. So different CFOs that are really riding the wave are taking different approaches. For those that aren't embracing the disruption, they're taking a more of a cautious approach. And at the moment, sometimes I think sitting, doing nothing is not the recipe for success.
Christine, we'll leave it there. Always appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dan.